if you find yourself a long way from popping fresh, or you just want to have homemade biscuits, they're not that hard to make. You'll need these things here. You'll need some flour. This is not self-rising flour, so you'll need baking powder, some salt, some oil, and some milk. You'll need something to cut your biscuits out with. This works good, not hard to make. You'll need some spoons and some cups. I already chose the ones that I need here, and you'll need a fork. So, to get yourself started, you need to open your flour. If it's not already open. And you'll need 2 cups of it. I happen to have my cups already set out. So, actually you'll need 4 cups. I'm going to make a double batch. Easier that way. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you spill a little bit of flour on your table, don't worry about it. You're going to need some on there in a minute anyway. So, we got 4 cups of flour. Then you need 2 tablespoons of baking powder. That is, if you're not using self-rising flour. We have 1, 2. Now, you can use a fork or many different methods to mix this all up. You need 1 teaspoon of salt. I have a rather novel approach to this. This is the lazy way. Get your bowl that seals up real good and just shake it. Shake it to death. Get everything all shook up together like this. Saves a lot of stirring. Okay, the next thing you need to go in this mess is 1.5 cups of milk. Here's a cup. Give me just a second here. And I can use this half, or I can just eyeball a half in here, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I don't like mixing my milk and oil. See, you can see it's pretty close eyeball. There's my 1.5 cups of milk. And then I need a 1/2 cup of oil. I like soybean oil. I don't care much for canola. What really works good instead of any of this oil, bacon grease. You got some bacon grease, those will make you the best biscuits. Then we start mixing this up. And you can see it starts getting thick really quick. This is where you wish you had a fork with a thicker handle, because it'll really start cutting into your hand. Now, in the case of this is actually just a little bit too thick. I'm going to add just a little bit more milk. Not a lot. Just a trickle. Let's see if that gets us going again. Yeah, that got us going. See, you want it good and thick, but you don't want any loose flour laying around in there. I'm kind of getting that. As you notice, so it's not sticking to my hands. That's what you want. You want to be sure that your fork is really strong. Here's the ball there go out. So we're going to have to add just a little more milk. Now the problem is if you get too much in there, this will be too sticky to handle. You don't want that. You don't want too much milk in there. But you don't want your flour making a powder. Now what we got here now is some good biscuit dough. I may have to finish working it on the table though because it is really thick. I'll move some stuff out of the way. Put a light dusting of flour on the table. That is, if you didn't spill enough in the first place. Got that out like so. While you got the flour on your hands is the best time to grab the biscuit dough out. And you can see in that bowl it's almost clean. Now I'm going to work this biscuit dough a little bit more, get a little more flour in it, because it's pretty sticky in a few places. After we get that kind of patted out, make it about, a little over a ½ inch thick, maybe 5/8 or 3/4. I don't know how many millimeters that is. But anyway, we have it patted out, and the next step, of course, would be to cut it out. Now at this point, you may want to preheat your oven. That's about 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 degrees Celsius. We have the bottom element on. We have the rack in the middle. And you just, on these kind of ovens like this, you just set your timer on it. We want the oven hot before we put the biscuits in it. You need a pan about like this, and you need to butter the pan. Put some butter in there to keep the biscuits from sticking. So, now we're about ready to cut them out, put them in the pan. Now, I like to use butter to butter the pan. You can use the oil like that too, but really the butter works just fine. And sometimes people like to taste the butter. I go up around the sides of the pan a little bit and make sure you cover the bottom good. When you got your good film of butter all over the pan, then you're ready to cut your biscuits and start putting them in it. Now I can cut here, here. And you can start putting your biscuits in there just about the time you start cutting them. As you can see, this is not that hard of a job. Some of these biscuits may be a little thicker than they need to be. Just have to keep an eye on them when you're cooking them. Mash your biscuit dough back together, flatten it back out. Try to shape it in such a way where you're going to get an even number, contour to the edges of your biscuit cutter. If you see a big crack like that, just try to cut alongside of it. You got to remember, these are country biscuits. They're not going to be 100% symmetrical like the ones you get out of a tube. They're going to be flaky and they're going to have a grain to them. All part of their charm. And when you put them in the pan, You do want them kind of touching each other, because that lends to them having a nice fluffy sides on them. Now you see I'm getting down to the last of this. I'm trying to actually give it round ends to fit the biscuit cutter better. I'm trying to flatten it out a bit more. Boy, I can feel the heat coming off that oven already. There's one. There's one. And now the rest of it we just kind of bunch together and make an oddball one. Wad that guy up. Just stuff him there in the middle. Like so. And then the next thing you do, slide this guy in the oven. It's been about 5 or 6 minutes. Let's sneak us a little peek. Oh yeah, look at them guys coming up. Okay, we're gonna close this back up. Or give them maybe another 5 or 6 minutes. And then if they're not already starting to brown a little bit on the top, they should be done. And I'll show you the trick to browning them up and making them golden and beautiful. Okay, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are done now. As you can see, some of them are split on the sides. So we need to change this to here, to where we're bringing up the upper element. Now when we bring up the upper element to brown these guys, we need to open the door so that we can watch them brown. And it happens pretty quick once that element comes on. And I'm looking, it's just now starting to turn red. Now as you can see, they're a nice golden brown color. We turn our oven off. We take them out. We could let them go a little longer. Turn the pan a little bit. Let's turn that back on and let them go just a little bit longer. Maybe close the door a little more. Okay. Once that element on the top turns red, it'll brown pretty quick. As you can see, they're already starting to get brown. I like them kind of light brown, like so. And then while they're still good and hot, you take out your butter and you start covering the tops of them. And this will make them soft. If you ever see me do my garlic bread video, I do this with the garlic bread too. As soon as it comes out, you hit it with the butter. Or with garlic bread, you can use olive oil. Olive oil's good on garlic bread. There ain't nothing says country breakfast like real butter on real biscuits. Sometimes these are so good you don't even need to put gravy or anything on them. You can just open them up and put some more butter on them. Snarf them down the way they are. Okay, we got a good coating on all of them, it looks like. I'm looking for dry spots and I'm not seeing very many. Close my butter back up. Let them cool just a little bit because it's really too hot for me to mess with right now. And there we are. Okay, there we are. Nice and golden brown. Use pot holder for sure. Take them out. And we could turn them around a little bit and get some of them more brown, but that's not what we're doing right now. We're going to go ahead and turn the oven off, and then we're going to get some of that butter. And here's the butter. Look at that, they're soft, they're hot. Those are gonna be delicious. They're gonna be great with sausage gravy on there, or chicken a la king. Oh, you don't know how to make chicken a la king? Well, I just have to do a video and fix that. Same about the sausage gravy. There we go. Now this, putting the butter on here, besides giving them a nice taste, also keeps them from drying out. So there you go, country biscuits.